circumstances come in all type of situations, and they probably ain't drinking. They drinking holy water. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, y'all. Welcome to an episode of All Black Everything.
All black.
All everything. Black everything.
I still got grease on my head.
Where we celebrate, we celebrate all shades of black.
All shades, 50.
Not 50.
Black on black.
My skin is black. My hair is black. My legs is black. My shirt is black. We black. Okay. Where we celebrate all shades of black.
Are we recording? And all expressions of black, right?
All expressions of black. Even imaginary light-skinnedness.
True light skin.
This imaginary light skin over here.
He didn't do the squint. So
listen, here's the thing. I didn't wear my turtleneck. And if I would have came in with my turtleneck, it would have been all light skin.
It would have been all light skin feelings. Listen, Drake feelings.
Boy.
T.I. feelings.
Those explosive, prodigious, ginormous
plies.
feelings.
You feel me?
Oh, God.
Don't talk about it. Don't Uncle Phil, holla at your boy.
Not Uncle Phil. What is it? Listen, what they used to say, waffle. What did Charlamagne used to call them? Waffle colored Negro.
Not waffles. Because sometimes you burn waffles. So.
I mean, sometimes you burn waffles. You're right. So we celebrate all kinds of blackness out here, and you know, black people are not a monolith. So we all have different thoughts and ideas and feelings. And why is the mic just falling to the ground? I mean, it was all that extra blackness. It was like I don't have to.
It was the
this.
beat. It was the thing.
And it's Black History Month. I can't deal.
And so you know, today is our first episode, and these are our hosts. We got BR. BR, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm black. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Blackity black.
Blackity black. Except for when he light skinned.
Wait a minute. You don't say it. When you say you black, you gotta go over there and lower your voice.
You gotta lower your voice and black. Like put some bass in your voice.
Black. Hey yo, my name is BR and I'm black.
I'm black. You gotta put some bass. Put some bass in your voice.
Put some bass in your voice, damn it.
And then over here, representing the ladies.
I'm Elle. I'm your friendly resident min pin mama. So you will hear about Minnie, my min pin, very often.
All right, listen. That dog is black.
She is black.
So here's the thing. Listen, here's the thing. She bougie and black.
Yeah, she.
But we found her in the 50s though.
That doggy is bad and bougie. Doggy is bad and bougie.
Hood and super bougie.
No, my little mouse.
And then low key got a little church in it because you know she was nicknamed Missionary Minnie for a little bit. She was casting the devil out of frogs. I saw her lay paws on everything.
Hallelujah.
It's like I will touch you. Damn, you're
Elle, tell the people about yourself. Give us a little bit of biography.
Ooh. So I've been born and raised in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a KC native. I've been on this magnificent rock we call Earth for a little over 30 years. So I guess I know a little some. I mean,
you called it a magnificent rock. I've been calling it a trash box for the last 5.
Well, it's all about your outlook. You know, if you call it a magnificent rock, then that just changes your outlook on things.
You know what? I'm a
mental frame.
Okay, well, you know,
frames. Know nothing about nothing. I'm 21, and I don't care nobody say about it. Say something.
Alrighty,
say something.
Something.
This too. It's hot. It's starting to get hot in here.
Because you got us closer to the fire because you out here lying like that.
So, no, you know what happens with black folk getting into space, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's because we
radiate.
We radiate heat. It is what it is. I mean,
that's
sometimes you be like,
coming from our pores.
That's excellence coming from our pores.
Yeah.
That's
what
I'm talking about.
That touched my soul a little bit. I ain't gonna fight.
So as always, the shows we do have a sponsor for this show. It is Black Unicorn Magics. It is a Black-owned cosplay and costuming service on Etsy. We do have a coupon code. Yes, coupon will be seen below. Make sure you go to there and check it out. Make sure you go out there and check that out. If you want to see this full discussion, make sure you go to our Patreon page where we will have the full unedited discussion without any stops or bleeps or anything. It'll just be everything that we just said. It's going to be straight foolishness and
foolishness. You might as well get on there now and go ahead and
go ahead and give us a couple coin.
Put the coin together. You know what I'm saying? We know. Skip McDonald's and go ahead and get your situation.
Get your situation. Because you know what we will give you is laughter. What they will give you is the diabetes.
Yeah, I think we're a tad bit better than the diabetes.
I want you to choose. Listen, what the Bible say? Choose which mother. God, you got to be kidding me.
Somebody over there.
See, this is a live show, so sometimes
something
things just yes, please. We just be putting stuff together like I be trying.
Are we rigging it? We been rigging
No, we ain't rigging it because it's already supposed to not do that. So I just undid. You know what? I just screwed it too far. Don't say nothing else. Shut up.
I'm just trying to figure out
what happened.
What's this?
I just picked up 2 things I saw on the floor.
That's fine. Oh yeah, put that over there. That's for the wireless mics that didn't work. So we was supposed to start earlier than we did. I need you to do me a favor. Hold on to that. Earlier, and then we were supposed to start last week, and then my partner ended up
holding on to this cylindrical situation.
It ain't the first cylindrical situation you done held on.
You know
to.
What? I don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody my business. You know what I'm talking
about? I mean, I'm talking. Listen,
wait a minute.
Hold the black ass phone.
I think. You got to groove. You got to groove. We back in there.
We back in there.
A little so it stays up.
That's a true statement.
Did you say tickle a little so stay up? This is, you know what? Y'all is nasty.
Listen, I'm not nasty.
I'm calling the people on y'all.
We're
going to hold on to it right
Educational.
Here. Is that what it is?
Educational.
Yeah. I got you. You know, this is a podcast for adults. It's a web show for adults. Don't bring your children around here.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Or do, but you may have to explain some things to them. I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, tickle?
My mommy got a unicorn horn in her bedroom.
I was in Mama's top drawer and I found something that was sticky.
It was sword. Whoa.
I found a unicorn horn. Look at it. I put it on my forehead and just ran around the house.
Poor little Ting Ting out here in these streets.
Little Ting Ting. That's how she got here.
Yeah, Mama ain't gonna tell her.
That's how she got here. That's when this needs to be tightened up. There we go. We're back in business. I was like, I'm tired of holding this thing. But what's up?
This just random conversation. My brain just kicked in. Man, did you watch the Janet documentary?
You know we about to talk about it.
Hey, the Janet documentary though. We're not gonna talk. I'm not. Once it comes up in conversation,
listen, we can go there right now.
I'm about to go in.
We can go there right
I'm gonna go in
now. Go for it. Go ahead.
So here's the thing about that Janet life. That's all you have to say about it. Life.
Listen,
he gave me life.
Listen, I said Janet gave me everything I want for nothing. I want for nothing. It was everything I needed. It was all of the behind the scenes stories. Like she confirmed some of the rumors and then told y'all that for some of the stuff that ain't even in my character. Mine's a motherfucking business. I ain't got no shit to do with that.
Just like that. Oh, so like they were talking about James the Barge.
Yes,
James the Barge is the secret baby and whatnot. And they asked her, and the face she gave him was so black. She went. If you don't go on somewhere with that good,
I know.
It's like beloved.
That was a beloved face. She did. She put out the Ayana Van Zandt. But now, why would you ask me about this secret baby? You know damn well ain't no secret baby. And then look, Rebe is that auntie that like you sit next to at the cookout because she gonna tell all the business.
Yeah.
She could not wait to get some of that shit out. Ruby been like, I've been waiting on this for
I've been coming for my sister for years. I got something for you. Decades have been going by.
Listen, and what I loved about it in general is if you look at the timeline of events of like how things went, every time something was supposed to go really good for her, tragedy happened. Every single time you had the deal with Coke, which would have put her like taking her to the next level. Brother, and it wasn't even her issue. Brother was stuff with Michael. Now listen, I know you're supposed to say because that's your brother that you don't think he did it and it's not in his character. But I'm gonna keep it real 100. If 10 people are calling you a duck, your feet might be webbed.
Facts. I mean,
now listen. Now I'm not saying that to the degree or the extent to which those people said these things were happening, but I will say this: it is something approaching inappropriate.
Okay.
Even in the sense that you are, and I'm not like it's a matter of crossing lines.
So here's my thought process on it, especially with Michael Jackson and his.
And he's dead. I don't care anymore.
And I'm not burning bread on nobody. You know what I'm saying? But with the amount of like all of those kids, all of the Jacksons had stunted. There's something stunted. Not necessarily in their cognitive ability. They can read and write and they can think and they can make
and their emotional intelligence. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's something stunted in a sense where you didn't even have a childhood. Like you had to go from this show to that show to this show to that show to this show. And now that you're a grown man with millions of dollars, I'm gonna have all the kids around me because I never had a childhood.
Right.
And because you didn't have a childhood, you have a stunted or you have a skewed perception of what it is to be a kid.
And I want to have kids around that do not have, like, that are never going to have the life that I lived.
Yeah.
Right.
That are never going to, like, he was close friends with Ryan White, who had HIV. He did a lot of kids who were sick because they were, like, they were always going to have some sort of problem or something.
Right.
And, I do think that a lot of, that it came down to, for a lot of these people, money. He had money and he was a little weird.
Yeah.
And they put that on him.
But it's like, because there was that, I'm glad, unfortunately for Michael Jackson, that's going to be tainted on his entire
legacy.
life and legacy and things of that sort. But I'm glad it happened because then it opened up the Pandora's box to catch people like R. Kelly or to do things of that sort. I feel like it lets
actual predators,
right, real life people that are out there doing crazy stuff. And so, I mean, it sucks that
And the thing is, like,
it's just that he had to take the L.
I look at Michael differently than the way I look at, like, say, R. Kelly or, and part of it is the fact that Michael is no longer with us, so he can't tell the whole story. Like, we're never gonna get.
But even from like listening to some of his interviews and looking at things like that, like you can tell there's some stunted emotional growth and maturity.
Right.
And they say that your emotions like stop growing when you hit a really traumatic event.
Right.
So let's say he's 7, 8 years old. Ben dies. My emotional like.
But the thing is, it's
so
not
I'm, like,
even
7 or 8 emotionally for like.
I don't even
the rest
think.
Of my life.
I don't even think. I think that has something to do with it as well. But also, when you look at what fame does to children, and especially Black famous people, like Black, you have to think about the fact that Michael Jackson was the most famous Black person in the world. That like transitioned color lines, racial boundaries. KKK members was out here talking about something. You want to be starting something. You know what I mean? Thriller. It was like, ABC, all of that stuff. Like it literally transcended. it was one of the first times where you saw people of different races listening to the same music, bringing that, so you have that amount of, especially coming from Gary, Indiana, this place that like they were like, it's the hood, it was gangs and all of that. You have this incredible, you have to feel that weight on you as a person of color, especially a Black identified person of color, that you are literally the avatar for your entire race at 5 and 6 and 7.
Right.
And imagine what internally that will do to you. And then as you grow up, you always have to be beyond reproach. Right. You have to be absolutely perfect. You cannot do anything that someone could conceive as stereotypical or this or that.
Well, and that's what, for the platforms for a lot of people of color. I mean, look at people, oh Lord, for people of color in higher, even you can say that Barack Obama, he had to be that perfect person. He couldn't say anything out of pocket. He couldn't fart some type of way. The man wore a brown suit.
And then that tan suit,
and they was tweaked up.
That tan suit pissed them people off.
It was tough too. I don't care.
I would have worn that brown suit. I'd have worn that brown suid today.
That mug is tough. I don't care nobody say.
Listen, it was him and that brown suit was the same color though. That was the only problem. I said, look at him in this tan suit with his tan. He said, we gonna be monochromatic. He said, oatmeal everything. All oatmeal everything. I'm mad at you. Oatmeal cream pie face.
Yeah, but the whole thing about having to be like above reproach and that model minority, like that stuff that we encounter, like your average Joe in the workforce encounters that every day.
Right, and like, so to have that on a global scale, and we have a hard time with it. You know what I mean? At our big age,
right?
Imagine being 5 and 6,
right?
And then imagine you having, you are the breadwinner for your family. I mean, don't get me wrong. The other Jacksons were there and they were doing their thing, but like you're the breadwinner.
It makes me think.
Like 50-11
but it does make me think about it does make me think about the other Jacksons. They probably weren't as famous because they didn't have.
They were older.
They were older and they weren't all squeaky clean.
Right.
They was doing some. They were doing their dirt.
They were probably doing their dirt underneath, right? You know what I'm saying? They were like, listen, I'm gonna put this. Listen, look. Do you know how much? Do you know how much pussy I can get as a Jackson?
I'm getting all the butt. You know what I mean? Like even in the show, in the movie that they was in there getting some butt. So
Listen, do you know how much vagina I can get of all ages, races, sizes, and colors? All of them.
All of them.
They just throwing their drawers at me.
Draws.
And like, listen, and that one is 5. What are you gonna do with him? You might as well bring him on over here. I take care of him. So, and then you take that, and then you add, you have a father who, and she cleaned him up a little bit.
Okay.
She did. She cleaned him up. And was like, listen, I understand why he was the way he was as an adult.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that he didn't, and then one of the assistants was like, his kids didn't get to see him. He sacrificed his fatherhood for their career.
Right. Their lively. For their life to be where they're not wanting for anything.
Right.
He had to sacrifice even having a fatherhood over the children.
Fatherly relationship.
That is so true. Like even in day to day, like there's a lot of fathers out there that go out and they just do, and they were like, hey, wah. But it's like what she said that was interesting to me, and it actually touched me, was that I didn't recognize it then, but I understand it now.
Yep.
And there's a lot of times where there was a lot of stuff that my parents did that I was like, when I was in it, I'm like, you motherfuckers got me fucked up. We gonna fight. I don't care what you're talking about.
But now I get it.
It's like, oh, that makes sense. That's why you had me go and read all those books. Oh, that's why you had me writing essays in the middle of the night on the weekend. That ain't make no sense.
That's why you was like, well, that's why I had a B, and that's why you was yelling at me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A B is still above average.
Right.
I'm still doing better than most.
They wasn't hearing none
But and it's funny because I think about my dad was military, and again, this goes back to being on a smaller scale, and like he's a girl dad. You know what I'm saying? He could not handle this. This was too much. You know, so I didn't have those moments that was like, you know, the dad teaching you how to shave or throwing the football with you or dad wasn't doing all that. He was like, I had worked all day. All I want is a beer and my football. And if the football ain't on, I want to watch the news. And leave me the hell alone.
Twice.
And so, like, twice. I didn't, you know, so as I got older, and me and my mom talked about this the other day, you know, I was like, listen, we gave you a lot of smoke that should have been for dad, because dad was there, you know, and I was like, because it wasn't like I grew up in a house like a single parent household, but like mom was the disciplinarian. She was the person that we went to. So like when we were pissed at mom. Like, it was mom did this. But, you know, I was like, some of that smoke should have gone to dad. And she was like, no, I took that. That was my job. My job was...
parents do that, though. Like,
she was like...
There's always that one person, like, I mean, that depends on which family member is in the military. Like, there's women that are in the military, and so on and so forth. And there's civilian dads or whatever. But, like, when dads and usually fathers that are in the military, mom is usually the one that's like, okay, I'm going to be the glue and get all the glue together and keep the whole house together and woo, and then I can do all the things. And then when he comes in, pretty much we just taking care of this joker so he can go back out and do what he's going to do.
That's basically what it was. Dad did what dad, you leave that man alone.
Let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing. And it was, she was like, I knew when I married him and he went into service what my role was. Right. My role was to run defense, you know, and so I took on those things. I did all of that stuff because that's what I was supposed to do. Right. She was like, I was like, I feel bad because we did. I was like, we gave you hell sometimes. She was like, you did, but like in some of that stuff, because I remember I think I've told this story on another podcast before, but there was I was probably like 12, maybe 11 years old. And I wanted to go do district chorus, and there was tryouts, and it was at like a different high school, or a different school than the one that I went to. And I asked my mom to take me. Well, she had to go to work, and daddy wasn't doing it. He just didn't feel like it, so he wasn't going. And so, like, I asked my aunt and all the people, because at that point, my aunt and them were living with us. And that first they said, yeah, and then they turned around and was like, oh, we can't. Well, I was pissed. Yeah. Because you told me that I could do this thing, and now you're telling me, like, the day of that I can't. And I was like, everybody got to be out of my house by 9:30, because they were moving out that day. When I tell you the ass whooping I got, because you don't own a motherfucking thing in this house, and how dare you tell them to get out? And I was like talking to mom about it, and I was like, the thing is I was mad at y'all because y'all had things that y'all had to do. Daddy didn't have nothing to do. He just didn't want to do it. And mom was like, I was like, but I wasn't mad at him.
Right.
And she was like, I was like, that is because I didn't have that connection. And I talked a long time. I've talked about, like, I didn't have a connection with my dad until I became an adult. And then it was like, that's my daddy, but like, we talk now. Like, it ain't that, like, because he don't have to parent me anymore. Yeah.
Right. Now we're having
an adult conversation. And
what was your thought process in that?
You did this dumbass thing.
I remember you did something that was a little bit suspect. And how does this work now?
Those are the, like, and it's only been like maybe the last 10, maybe 15 years that we've even had that kind of relationship where it's just been like we're adults. Because before I would be like,
I have a similar kind of situation with my mother. Like me and my mother, I used to call the woman in the back. She would come from work.
Go and get that woman in the back.
She would come to work, come home from work. We would have to go get her a large glass of water, and she would just go to the back and watch Oprah. And I would bring her the water, and that was it. That was the last time I saw my mom for the afternoon until it was time to eat. You know what I'm talking about? Unless she was coming out to cuss us out for not cleaning the house. So it was what it was. So I used to call the woman in the back. That's the woman in the back. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Somebody come get the woman in the back.
Somebody got to get this right. So, me and my brothers and stuff like that, or my sisters, we would just all figure it all out, clean the house, get all together. But it wasn't like we used to butt heads. Like she kicked me out in the snow in my drawers one time, and I was just out there.
Now, did you grow up in a 2-parent home or?
So my father passed away when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
So my mother, from the age of 12 until now, has been a single parent. So, but my best friend was my dad. So it was like, I had that relationship with Pops, but Mom's was the woman in the back.
That was the woman in the back. And the thing is what's interesting is how many of us, and I don't know, like, were your parents?
They weren't. My parents were married, and then they divorced probably a couple years after I was born.
So it's interesting. I always think of what's interesting about I say there are certain things in the Black experience that are through lines. And it doesn't matter where you come from, what what part of the country you were in, whether you were full Black, half Black, a quarter Black. There are certain things that are just kind of ingrained. I feel like it's like epigenetically in your brain, in you, and it's this idea that like
you in that SAT word right there.
Look at me, look at that.
I'm just saying, you read a book, and I support that.
It is this idea of like the matriarchal society that is Blackness.
Yeah.
And it's and I don't think that it's a thing that like the government is trying to keep Black men out of the house and blah blah. I don't think it's all of that, because I think that.
I mean, I see some validity in that.
I can see some validity in it, but I don't think that's 100%. Some niggas is trash. Let's just go ahead and can't say what it is. I can't.
There's some trash niggas. I will say
that. Future exists for a reason. I said it, and I'm not taking it back.
You said it with your chest too.
I'm not taking it back.
I ain't mad at it. Keep on pushing.
But I think that like, because like,
keep on pushing.
My parents are still married. My parents have been married for 42 years, right. But when I think about how I was raised, although my dad was there, but because he was military, I was like, my mom was the parent. Right. My dad was that dude in the room.
And I feel like my dynamic was a little more different because, like, my parents were divorced, but then we moved in with my grandparents. So then it was my married grandparents, my mom and myself. So then it's just, with the whole matriarchal structure, we had the matriarch there and my grandmother. So it was like a thing where, like, yeah, I got a mom, but she's the ultimate mom.
Grandma's the one you got to. Grandma the one you got to worry about.
Because if grandma told me to jump off a bridge, I'm going to go do it. Even if my mama
looks
told
like
me no.
Can I get a short bridge? Can we negotiate this?
Can we negotiate this bridge?
You telling me to jump? Yes, grandma.
But it's that, and it's so interesting to me because like we talk about that on the Cousins podcast that we do. We've talked about that's my whole family, and we out here clowning. That's just what we do. But we talked about this idea of the matriarchal, like, the matriarch is something that you can't claim that. That's something that is given to you.
Right.
But at the same time, like, that's a responsibility because you are in charge of being the glue that holds the family together. Right. And it's when you think about, like, okay, how we all grew up. You said grandma was the matriarch. She was the one. If grandma said jump off a bridge, you gonna jump. You know what I'm saying? You had mom had her rules. These are the things that had to be done, and
even my dad, even though my father, my it was a patriarch kind of vibe, but it was all centered around what my mom was gonna do.
Yep.
So even though Dad was home, he was like, "Hey, your mama's not gonna like that. You might as well go ahead and clean under there, or you can get this right here and fix it over here."
Listen, your mama gonna have a fit.
She gonna snap. She gonna snap. Let me get you right.
I'm trying to help you out because it's gonna help me out in the long run.
Everybody.
Because if I got to hear it,
everybody got to stay safe in this house.
Because you gonna hear it and then I'm gonna hear it, and that's how my dad was. My dad was very much like, look.
Let me give you the secrets of the eye.
Are you going to? Now, what is your mama gonna say when she get home? Like, I was never one of those, like, you know how you hear people talk about when your daddy get home. I was
like,
never,
call my daddy. I don't care.
I don't care. Like, you know what he gonna do? Tell my mama. That's all he gonna do.
The beatings, I'd rather get beat by my daddy than my mama. Anytime.
Listen,
anytime.
My father had this thing.
Anytime.
My father had this
my
thing.
My dad could have came through. He'd be like, "You catching the beat? Oh, okay, cool." Mama's like, "I'm getting in that ass." Oh God.
I think I got a whooping by my dad once, and I got punched by my dad in the face at 15.
Yup, there it is.
I always hear stories about that. The first time, like, dad hits, and I'm like,
yeah, dad, because the dad is not hitting you to discipline you. Dad is fucking you up.
I'm about to break your chest.
I'm breaking your spirit. Like, I just want you to, because it is at that point, it is this, like, it is usually teenage years. Yeah. It's usually like you got, you're starting to assert.
You felt it. You felt it right here, and you're like that.
And Dad had to be like, listen.
I remember the story. I slammed the front door, and I slammed the screen door.
Dad came out that screen door.
He said, "Little Joe." He said,
"Told you up,
little Br, sir. We have a problem."
Did he say little Br? Did he go, "Nigga, who was you doing?"
He said, "Motherfucker, who the fuck you? Who's slamming doors?" He said, "Oh, okay, you grown now." So he came up there.
There's a calm in it.
He said, "You got 2. You get 2." I was in karate. And in boxing, so I thought.
Why do we have the same story?
I thought I was a gangster. I was a savage. I thought couldn't tell me nothing. He said, "You got 2." I said, "Aha! You done messed up now. I'm about to put these 2 pieces on you."
This is where we were wrong. This is where we diverged because I knew I had fucked up.
No, I was bold. I was bold as fuck. I gave him and he said, "Whoa!" I folded.
Listen, like a napkin,
like a billfold, Doc.
Like, he transformed down.
I went.
All of a sudden, you heard.
But then, so is that skill ingrained in all fathers? Like, as soon as you told that baby that skill, how to punch,
how to
lights out.
Because see, mine was like,
don't test the gangster. That's what it comes down to. There's a little bit of don't test the gangster.
Don't test the gangster in every man.
Every man has that moment. When they're like,
oh, so you really, you playing for real?
Oh, you want to fight? Oh, I got something for that. Especially like a real super masculine. I can say from the military. I know military. My dad was in the military. He was in the Army or Air Force. Sorry, he's in the Air Force. So he was one of them cats. Like,
see, and my dad is very quiet. Like, he don't say a whole lot. Yeah. He's kind of timid. He doesn't. Timid isn't the right word for it.
Reserved.
He's very reserved. He don't say a whole lot. But once he's one of the ones that when he talks, everybody goes.
Stop the whole conversation.
What? Okay. What did you? What? And sometimes, and depending on what he said, because it depends on how much he had to drink, you either like that was really profound or.
What? What's in that cup?
Bruh, you need to stop.
Go and answer that somewhere. But I was like, mom had asked me to clean the bathroom, and I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, I'll get to it. I was like, yeah, and I was in the room playing video games. Dad comes in the room and he's like, your mother told you to clean the bathroom. I was like, I know. He said, all right.
Last words.
Went downstairs. About an hour later, comes back up. Hey, didn't your mama tell you to clean the bathroom? I said, I know. And he said, all right. Come downstairs. About half an hour later, comes back upstairs. Your mother told you to clean the bathroom. I said, I know.
And with your chest?
Uh-oh.
He came towards me, and immediately the fist went up. Like, it wasn't even.
Did it go in slow motion?
It wasn't even like it was just a reaction. It wasn't even like I didn't, because I recognize this is my father. You know what I'm saying? But it was like and he was like, oh, okay. Like he looked and was like, oh, okay. Go ahead. In that moment, I realized I had fucked up.
Somebody gonna die today. In the back of your mind, somebody's gonna die.
Not the Sonic rings out.
But I have always been a stocky, like a stocky kid. Like I'm barrel chested, and my dad is like maybe 5'10", 5'11", and I've been 6 foot since ninth grade. So I was like, I might
be able to win.
I might be able to do this.
Nah, bro, it's a wrap. R.I.P. my guy. Stay strong, my guy.
I was like, nah, Dad. Nah. Meanwhile, I'm kind of calculating how can I get out of this situation? He was like, nah, go ahead.
Ain't no way
Go
out.
ahead.
Ain't no way out, Doc. You didn't open up Pandora's
I
box.
put the first up.
Ooh.
And that was all I remember.
Stay strong.
Now get in there and get that bathroom cleaned up.
So what day did you wake up?
No, that same hour because he had to get those.
Because I had to get that bathroom cleaned up. Get in there and get the bathroom
He
cleaned
get
up.
you out of conscious and back into conscious in one time. Oh Jesus! Let me figure out my life.
I went in there and got the bathroom. I'm gonna tell Mama on
That bathroom was spotless. I bet you that.
And I was like, I'm gonna tell Mom.
Say what you gonna say. It don't matter what you said after that. It was like, that bathroom was clean.
We both was in trouble.
That bathroom was clean.
That bathroom was clean, but we both was in trouble.
That bathroom was clean though.
Mama was like,
that's the ultimate situation. Forget all the extra stuff. That bathroom was clean.
The bathroom was clean.
Let me tell the audience that bathroom was clean.
It was clean. Very clean. As a whistle.
Man, he got into that. I done got beat for messing with the dishes. Them dishes got clean.
Listen, I was like,
house clean.
This child abuse. Tell me, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Take it with you. You gonna leave? That was my mama's thing.
Anybody.
Right.
She
You gonna leave this
Call
house?
the police, pack your bags. You leave them with them.
You gonna leave this house with what you came into it with, and that is absolutely nothing.
My
And
mom
call
said
them.
she gave me my drawers, but she kicked me out. She said you can have your drawers because I don't want to catch no case.
My mama said you leave this house with what you came in here with, because everything in this motherfucker is mine. That Nintendo you like to play, that's mine.
That was a good one. So my brothers are gamers. They're just gamers. I'm not no gamer, but my brothers are gamers. So they play video games. I got sick. And usually I'm the one to clean up the house while them jokers play video games. So the house was jacked up. And I was in the back and I heard, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I rolled up
clean the bathroom.
I rolled the whole house. The whole house was jacked. My baby brother was over there with no shirt on the couch, naked, barely. And then my older brother was just sitting there. He had nothing to say. He was just stuck. And I remember my mom picking up the PlayStation and chucking that joint out the front door. And it was in slow motion how it bounced. It was like boom, boom. And it was like doo, 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 doo. And everybody. And then it turned into an ACPCA or AFPCA commercial. In the eyes of an angel. Everybody.
Listen, so I remember when I was 10 years old. My mom used to have this thing. She would be like, play around with, you can play. She would, if you ask for something, she would go get it. But she'd be like, listen, let this thing be somewhere it ain't supposed to be. And I'm going to throw this bitch away. And I don't care. And I wanted to remember the domino rally sets. And it's essentially these like dominoes that you would stack up and then like it would knock them down.
Yeah.
And it had like tracks and all these things. That would I wanted this thing so bad. So for my 10th birthday, I finally got it.
Wins.
And I was like, bet. My mom was like, let me tell you something. The first time I step on one of these dominoes, I'm throwing this whole thing away. It lasted 6 hours.
And it was gone.
Gone.
Anyway, that Janet.
We was on the Janet. Let's see how we just tangented it off.
But I can bring it back. I'm good for that. No, but the Janet documentary was really, really good.
It was so good.
It's a recommended watch. If you are truly interested in like pop culture and how you can see the resiliency of just individual who took her lumps and just kept on pushing. Like, L's.
L's. After L, after L, after L. Like, they was just...
L's. It was just terrible.
I mean, like, we was talking about the timeline, because we got into Michael, and then we got into fathers and the family. That's how we got... I was like, how did we get there?
No, I already knew how we got there. But
So, if you look at the timeline of events, so the Coke thing happened, right?
Right.
And then you have the nipple, the titty.
Yep.
Tittygate. But Tittygate happened the same time as the second trial. Yeah. So I honestly feel like if the second Michael trial hadn't been going on at that same time, that nipple would not have been as big of a deal as it was.
Oh, they blew that Joker all the way up.
All the way out of proportion.
Stupid. Mm-hmm. And the thing that, to me, that was interesting is that Justin Timberlake reached out to her, from what she said. Justin Timberlake reached out to her to make a statement. He said, should I make a statement? And she was like, no.
Because it's on me right now.
She said, no, it's all on me. I can take the L. Plus, we're just going to let it ride out. And we're just going to, I just wanted to disappear. And I was like, bro, no.
That's not you. First of all, it's still fuck Justin Timberlake for life. I don't care. I don't, listen, I know, Janet tried to tell us, we're friends, leave it alone, don't get on him. And Twitter was like, girl, listen, do you know who you are versus who he is? If you don't think that we're not going to go with our pitchforks and tear his ass up on general fucking principle, that's just what it is.
It was a slip. It really was a wardrobe.
It was a wardrobe malfunction. Gil explained, and that's the thing. Having Gil, her creative director, explain was perfect. Like it wasn't anybody else. He was like, I'm the one that set the stage up. This was what was supposed to happen. And then seeing his experience and his perspective was like, this should be the thing to shut everyone up. Right. About this. Oh, she did it on purpose, blah, blah. No. There was something was supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be that. Well, why would she have a nipple ring on? Because she's a grown-ass woman.
Right. With a whole man at home.
With a whole man at home.
A whole man.
Listen, a whole man. Because
we're not going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. We're going to get there. We're not there yet.
Was that Jermaine Dupri time? Is that when that boy was in there?
That was when
he said, being with Janet opens up doors to more butt. I said, this junkie here, boy.
I said, you said this shit on national television. You said the quiet part out loud.
You could have just said, bro, I was
some things happened.
I was out there in these streets. You could have said anything. That brother said, hey.
Being with Janet.
I'm
a man. Listen.
And I'm a man.
You had Janet Demita Jo Jackson. Baby, would you mind? Let's talk about all the nasty things she's singing about. We'll do anything.
Would you mind?
Baby, would you mind?
That stage show where your man got turned out. He's still drinking Janet Jackson's bathwater. Oh, yeah. Listen, I'd be drinking Janet Jackson's bathwater.
I was like, but we'll get to Jermaine. Listen. Because we gotta back up at Renee. Because here's the thing. I remember when Janet and Renee were they had been dating. I didn't know they were married. But I used to be like, that man is so fine.
Renee?
I used to think he was so fine.
Okay.
I gotta remember, I was like 16, 17.
Man was skinny as... Bruh, he ain't had no meat on him.
No meat on him. Listen, I didn't think he was fine. I didn't think he was fine as an adult. When I was little or younger, I would be like, look at him, just being, because he looked like that especially in the 90s, that kind of grungy thing was in. Yeah. Now I'm like, he need a bath. He don't wash his legs.
How the whole thing switched up. It just
he he don't bathe correctly. But imagine having I it's so interesting to think about here is a person who has been famous since she was 5. And even in her private life, every single moment is documented. That camera was never off of her.
And that's what she was like, don't document my mom.
Right.
I can't do that, man.
You have to think the amount of irritation that had to cause in her life. And the fact that they got Tina Landon on there to talk, because, they're not friends anymore.
Really?
Oh, no, they have not been friends. Well, they might be friends. They might be better now. But when that divorce happened, Tina and Renee were on the same side.
Uh-oh.
And they were getting. That's why on the All For You album, the song You Ain't Right is about Tina.
Oh.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I was like, I don't know what they did to get her to come up there. Because they have, like, Renee was supposed to be, was going to write a book, and they were going to write a book together, and, like, it was like a tell-all. And Janet was like, do it if you want to.
My
do
lawyers,
it if you want
my
to.
lawyers got guns, too. What
Gag,
you mean?
Gag order, bitch. Say something. I dare you to.
Say something.
And it was like, I was
that
like,
was a prenup. Nobody want to talk about it, though. Don't say a thing about the Jackson.
Say something. Say something. I fucking dare you. You ever notice ain't nobody want to tell all about Janet?
Nobody want to tell all about many of them.
No.
There's not a whole lot of them that got to tell.
They got tell-alls because let's play with it if you want to.
I'm trying to tell you when I say it out loud, I say it out loud. It's real talk. The Jacksons were tight on their money, and they was tight on they lawyered up. They had super lawyers and all of that because they had long standing bread.
Right.
So Joe was like, nah, we ain't gonna have none of that.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because it's gonna bring us to another related kind of topic, especially with legal teams. But we're gonna finish this Janet one real quick. But then, like, when you think about that the Nipplegate happened right around, and it was right before the Damita Jo album came out, and then she got blacklisted, which affected the next 4 albums after that, and then she was doing the essentially the comeback. She put the song out. She was doing "Why'd I Get Married To" when Michael died, and was on set when she got the news about Michael. And then when she did that song I think 2 years ago, and was on set for the video shoot for that song when she found out her father died. And I'm like, this woman
can't take nothing.
Can't
win for losing
a break.
Can't win
like,
for losing.
Every time,
and then the personal life is going to shambles.
It's in shambles,
left, right, and everywhere, and men cheating on her, and this, that, and the other, and
I said, Janet is better.
All these
than
controlling men in her life, and it's just crazy.
That was the other thing about it that was crazy. Like for this woman, whose first popular album was Control, everyone around her controlled who she was.
Yeah.
Like she went from James to
started with Joe.
Joe,
and then it went to James. Then it went to
Renee.
And then it was.
Then Jermaine.
Jermaine caught her back on that. Oh, I'm living my best life. You can't tell me nothing. Type of energy.
Yeah, what like it really was that like, and it's almost like this idea of all she's looking for is somebody to love her.
Right. And I think her current relationship.
She ain't got no current. Her current relationship was with her
baby dad.
No, her current relationship was with her baby.
Oh no!
Hold on, she don't have her bag. Listen, Janet secured the bag. They didn't talk about the most recent relationship.
Right, that's what I thought it was.
No, they got a divorce. They got a divorce, and she secured the bag. She got like $500 million in that divorce.
That's the win for the team.
Just like, here, run me my coins. She said, I need a son, and that's it. The coins was really icing on the cake. That's a $500 million icing, but you know what?
I can't be mad about it.
But I can't be mad at it. So we're going to jump off of Janet for a little while. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on A&E and Lifetime.com. They play it every 15
everywhere,
minutes.
every week on repeat. And
it's
on demand. Everywhere.
I'm ready for the Bobby Brown.
I ain't ready for no. I ain't
Listen, here's why I'm
all the time.
Here's why I'm interested in the Bobby Brown one, because I personally feel like
I'm trying to figure out where the curse came from.
I love Whitney. I love Whitney. I love Whitney down. But I think that I have always maintained that Whitney was doing that stuff before she got with Bobby.
I can see that. He just made it worse.
He made it worse.
She did have bread.
she had some bread. You know what I'm saying? She was a model. I think she had some stuff before
she had
Bobby.
some connections on how to get what she needed if she needed.
And then it didn't help that her career was in the middle of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, where that stuff was
where people were trying to get as skinny as they possibly can. And anybody with curves was demonized or thrown out of the thing. You know, Milli Vanilli was coming through.
Listen,
and
girl, you know it's true.
Nah, and all the cover gates. You know, where they would have the big girl singing in the background.
Yeah.
And they would put some skinny model in the front, and
that's who it was.
And so you have all of that.
Martha Wash. Right. Martha Wash was out here. Martha Wash still getting checks from them. Still getting checks from them singing. You knew that big girl. You knew that little girl didn't have that voice.
Right. So, I mean, you have all of that, and you're bringing all of that energy. And so you're that's what they did to curve weight. They would say they would do some booger sugar and keep it moving.
But I do think that Bobby made it worse. But like I also think that Whitney's outside image and who she was, like her image and who she was not the same. No. Right. That was a homegirl. That was a runaway girl from Newark. Like straight up. That's
she got so much flack for doing pop from like the black community. Oh, she's not really. Oh, she
because that was the image. She was able. Her voice was that thing that was marketable to.
Right.
You know, again, like Michael, marketable, like palatable to white audiences. So yeah, go in that direction. That's where the bread is at. Right. But you know, so when she got with Bobby, it was almost like her. That was her way of like asserting her blackness again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
and she was able to me. I always look at Bobby and Whitney, almost like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Almost. Please hear me out before y'all start giving me the face and two faces and the cut knots. So, in a sense, Bobby and Whitney were supposed to be like Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yes.
Beyonce and Whitney have voices that are voices. You know what I'm saying? These are voices. Both of them have that hood background, and they wanted to have that hood background be prevalent in their careers. Right? Whitney was stifled. Yes. Which caused a lot of hell and high water in her personal life, because she's like, I want to go out. I want to go out and do a R&B kickback, do the kicks on the block kind of vibe. And they were like, hell nah. No, girl,
you're gonna sing "I Want to Dance with Somebody."
Right. She's never like,
your blue eyeshadow and your comb tease.
And your comb tease. Yes.
Right.
Which is a bob, don't get me wrong, but go ahead.
It was super bob. I Want to Dance with Somebody is still one of my top. Anyway, but Beyonce had the chance to go and venture in that way.
And she did a little bit.
Right, where she's able to do, like, even in her concerts, she was able to kind of, you know,
she's able to, like, give you hood and do.
Right, and do that. So I felt like if they would have let Whitney kind of go that way, how could that have shaped her personal life? Would it have bettered it or worsened it? I don't know.
I think it might have made it worse. Because
that was a different era, too.
Yeah, that was a different era. Like, Clive Davis was able to kind of rein in a lot of that, like, that the Newark behavior. I'm not going to say bad behavior, but, like, the Newark girl. He was kind of able to, like, polish her up and make her palatable. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a different era. Like, right now, Beyonce can do that because...
That's where we are.
That's where we're in. But in the 80s, Beyonce would not fly. First of all, her name would be Bianca. Yep. And
she'd be blonde.
She would be like for real blonde. Yep. And
she's fair enough.
You know, like
I feel like that's part of Beyonce's. That's what helped her move along, because she's fair, because she can. You know, she can be really close to white presenting compared to Whitney Houston.
But you know, but stands in her blackness as well. You know, we gotta give Beyonce credit where
she had to take. She had to toe the line, if you will.
She toed the line for a little bit.
For a long time. No, wait a minute. For a long time. That's a long time before she got.
Toed the line for a long. She toed the line up until, I will say, she toed the line up until probably 4. 4 is when. It was like, okay, this album is this album is black. Like, it wasn't explicitly black.
She told the line for a while. And even with Destiny's Child.
She told the line.
She told the line, too. So.
But sometimes you gotta do what brings in the coin.
Yeah, you gotta make the coin. Because I said that, because there are songs on 4 that I'm like, this is, like, those first couple of tracks on there that have that kind of, like, 80s, but I'm like, they sound very, like, 80s black. Like, like, it's like Party.
Yeah.
That song is like, I'm like, this is that's like your jam. You know, the more poppy songs were the singles, but like, she was starting to be like, listen, Law, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a college age girl just out of college age girl from Houston, Texas.
H-Town.
So, I'm finna give y'all a sorority album. And that's basically what it was. Like, to me, I was like, this sounds like a sorority album.
I wasn't mad about none of that.
I love, listen, there's not a Beyonce album I don't like. So they're all good. But then, but she got blacker and blacker and blacker as time is going on. Now she's like, nigga.
Couldn't tell me nothing.
Can't tell me a damn thing. You know,
my husband hair looking like a...
I just want you to make a choice. I just want you to make a choice.
Oh, snap. Jay-Z, what you doing, Doc? What you doing?
Listen, I understand.
He went down and talked to Lil Wayne for 15 minutes.
I get it. Freeform. I get your freeform dreads. You let them do what they want to do. But listen, sir. Like, you make too much money.
Listen. At least his line is
tight.
What? His line is tight.
His line is always tight.
His line is
he's
tight.
Not Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne looked like he just came from under a bridge.
I can't do Lil Wayne's dreads. I 100% can't do it.
They be like, Lil, in your way. They be like,
Lil Wayne's dreads look like
they holding on by a wing and one prayer. One prayer for all of it.
I said his dreads look like they smell like hot sauce.
No fried grease, my dude.
Old grease.
Old grease.
They smell like old grease.
Oh my god.
I said every time I see him, I'm like, why do you look like that?
Like you sniff his hair and be like,
ugh.
What do you want? It's sour. It's sour.
It's sour.
It smells like Kenta oil.
Not Kenta oil. I just like you can wash those, right? Like
it's okay.
It's okay. You don't have to look like that.
Nobody mad at you for washing that.
Nobody like I would say I'd be like,
you know my new favorite rapper right now is Plies. I love that man.
I have been on.
Why do I love this man? Why does he not have a show? Why does this man not have why does he not have a TV show? What? Why does he not have his own podcast? Something. This man should just talk.
Listen,
if he had his own show and podcast, it would get so scripted and so like not genuine that it would be hard to watch.
He can do a podcast. And it would be very much so genuine. But
I just want him and Kirk Franklin to do a show together.
All the veneers in there.
Listen, and call it like Righteousness and Ratchet.
Righteousness and Ratchet.
Two short guys.
You know, Kirk, listen. Kirk said, "Don't let the smooth taste fool you."
I already know about Kirk.
Kirk said, "Listen,
we all know about Kirk." And wait a minute, let me say this to the front. We
all know about Kirk. Listen, Kirk will fuck you up in this motherfucker. He don't give a damn. He said, "Don't let this little short self fool you. I love the Lord, but I will set it off."
You see when he was talking to the man who was trying to
he was talking to his son. We was talking to his son.
Oh yeah.
Child, I said, not I love the Lord, not Kirk. Not Kirk Stomp Franklin.
He about to stomp something. That's what he about to stomp.
I said,
the little man tried to pull his car.
I said, not Kirk. Do we need a revolution? Woo woo.
Yeah. Why do you cry?
That was the reason why I said
Listen, I'm telling you though. Okay, so I am. You know me. I have another through line for Black folks is we all come from some level of religion. We gotta even if it's a nugget in there.
Even if we only went to vacation Bible school and grandma sent us every summer.
Yep, we got some religion. And so for me, it is every once in a while I will go through this where I gotta hear some good old gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
And I, especially like if I'm doing a walk or something like that, just let me put some. There's usually Kirk or Ricky Dillard or you know what I'm saying Tamala Mann or somebody on. I had never paid attention to the rebirth of Kirk Franklin's album. When I tell you that album has some fucking gems.
It is one of my. There are a few albums that transcend time for me. The rebirth of Kirk Franklin is one of them.
Listen, that
there's that one.
Why do you cry?
When you sang like I used to be in choir and I used to be in the gospel choir at the school, and when I remember we had to sing it for it was like this like gospel stampede or something weird. You know, they say some weird thing where all the choirs from around the city come in.
Listen, look, go ahead, Sister Act.
Right. We was in there. And so I remember we sung that song, and I ain't never bawled during the song. I cried so tough.
If you have not heard that song, I think it's Why Do You Cry? Why Do You Cry? Mm-hmm. That song is it is beautiful. Like
anytime you can YouTube it and look at the live version of it.
Oh my God!
And you will. There's some kind of aura that transcends the YouTube video. I think I think it was about 2 years back. We were sitting in the basement, sitting in my man cave, if you will, and I had my music on, and I was watching the entire concert.
I did that last year. Yeah.
And the whole concert was on. It was on YouTube, and I was watching it. And when I tell you, bop after bop after bop after bop, we was in the basement just grooving, just going, hey.
What is that? There is a song that's on. There's a song that's on that album that I could like. I've only ever heard the white version of that song up until then, and
that's ugly.
Is it Hosanna? I think it's Hosanna.
Hosanna Forever?
Yeah, there is a white version of that song.
There is. There's plenty of white versions.
I want to hear it.
And like, I was like,
it's real. It's laced.
When that forever and ever, I'm like, you better hit them notes. Forever,
hey,
Hosanna,
we love you. And he over here, Billy rocking it.
Listen.
Don't touch Kirk.
Don't touch Kirk.
Don't touch Kirk's. His stage presence is next level. He is I think he's like 5'5" or something.
Listen,
but he's all of like 7 foot.
7 foot tall.
7 foot 12 foot 9. Boy, out here just dancing in his little circles and stuff. It was hilarious. They just did the Essence Festival virtual.
Oh, I bet you that was.
And he was the host for that, and it was hilarious because he was just going. He's like a little firecracker. He's just going around, and there ain't nobody there, so he's just going in.
I bet you. I bet you, Kirk Franklin on the Essence Fest. I want to go to Essence Fest so bad. So we about to end. So this was really kind of a free form. This is our pilot episode, really. See how things work out. I think it worked out pretty damn well.
I'm foolish. I am sorry.
You a fool.
I'm sorry.
So, well, the last thing I want to talk about, have you guys been watching Abbott Elementary?
I love that show.
She's been quiet this whole time because we've been talking about a whole bunch of stuff that she's like, I know a little bit about that, but now, true Elle fashion, she's about to go in.
I love that show. As someone who is very well acquainted with the disenfranchised public school system, everything our main character encounters, I have seen in some form or fashion. And it just, I'm like, you guys understand. You see what we have to go through. You know, we gotta clean with those non-picking up brown paper towels every single day that don't do nothing. We spilled water in the classroom and those brown paper towels did nothing. We had to put cardboard boxes on top of some water to absorb it. She gets it. And I love her for it.
Listen, the principal.
That's your spirit animal.
Favorite
That's
character.
your spirit animal.
I love. Listen, I hate her because she's terrible at her job, but I love her so damn much.
But I'm pretty sure I work for a principal like that.
Listen,
when
she
said,
got credentials is what she said.
When she said I was at Essence Fest for a month. Look, when she did that video about the poorest kid, that was just said the oldest teacher and the poorest.
The oldest teacher ever.
Bruh. That's how she got her gig. Stop playing with me.
No, she got it. No, when she talk about you know how she got her gig, because then like is it the pilot episode where they talk about where the dude that's from Everybody Hates Chris was like, I applied for the principal position and I got it, but then I didn't. And she was like, I found the superintendent in the bedroom. Like, she got the job, was like, or some down low shit. It was like, I caught him doing something he ain't supposed to do. I needed a job. I love her so much because she don't give. Here, like, somebody said that what it is about her is she is blunt. She always ends up doing what's right, but she has a very hands-off approach.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I love the. I've watched a couple episodes.
Oh
I haven't
God,
watched all.
That show was so damn good.
But I enjoy the actors that they pulled for the show.
I was surprised to see Cheryl Lee Ralph in a good way.
I was so happy to see Cheryl Lee Ralph again.
When I think of like older senior teacher,
that's exactly what I would thought of. Perfect.
The cast that they have is spot on. Even
and she does an
the white dude.
He is hilarious.
Right, he is like
when
every
she was like,
year,
when she was like,
America intern that walks into a school building that is the personification of them.
She was like, don't say anything else about Africa. When I went on my trip to Africa, what did we talk about? Don't say nothing else about Africa. I love it. Everybody in that class, everybody like perfect.
Even the kids.
Perfect casting.
Even the kids. Perfect.
Look at that little baby reading that book upside down on the stage. I'm like, oh, pick him. I'm like, woo, I've had that one in my room.
When he was like,
oh bad.
This is what I do. Or the one, listen, the smart kid, he was like,
She said, what do you do?
He's like,
what do you do? And she was like, what?
Gifted.
I've been trying to get that money.
Just saying that
the
whole
snake
gifted
eggs.
program.
So it's really funny. It's really funny because when we were watching the episode, I said, watch it be snakes.
Paul said the same thing.
Watch it be snakes. Because I've been there. I've been that guy. I was, I worked in school systems. I've done it. And I saw it. And I was like, it's going to be snakes.
Paul said there's a snake.
She got them too fast. She got them eggs too fast. And she was like, oh, give me a couple days. I got them eggs. Because they were like, we want to do it. No. They got them eggs too fast. That's some snakes.
Paul said he was like, there's a snake eggs. And I was like, how did you know? And he was like, listen, it was only going to be one or two things, right. Chickens and snakes.
That's all you get.
What else comes in the egg?
Right.
I was like, that
quick.
I screamed. I was like, this show is shout out to Quinta Brunson. Like that is
true.
Perfect. I watched that one and Grand Crew. Mm-hmm. I really like Grand Crew
I haven't seen
too.
It's
cute.
Okay.
It's no Abbott Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Abbott Elementary has me on the ground laughing. Grand Crew is cute. Like what I love about it is a show with a black cast that is not a black show.
Okay.
So it's like Friends, but make it black.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they talk about, blackness at some point, like it comes up, but like it's not the major.
Right. They still gotta go to the store and buy groceries.
Right. They like they're talking about like regular shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It just happened to be black.
As much as we talk about shows and blackness and things like that, Blackish coming to its final season.
I'm not ready.
To me, I'm happy that they're finally getting to a point where they just gotta let it go.
Well, here's the thing. Like,
I like the fact that they're doing all the things that they're doing is great. I feel like there was a couple seasons that just needed to go and disappear.
I feel like the
that
end.
divorce.
See, that divorce season to me was my favorite. Was my favorite season because it gave them. There were real stakes in that. Mm-hmm. Like all of the other ones, like fuck. Look, come on, y'all. Andre is a petulant man child. He's the literal worst. But like during that arc, it really felt like, oh shit, like this could go either way.
Right.
It didn't feel like there was going to be an easy resolution. And, it really hit all, like to me, those 4 episodes hit the important emotional moments.
Okay.
And in the demise of a relationship, the two people who, a little argument becomes a bigger argument, and then neither one of them are willing to give in, and then that resentment was setting in, and like it was how relationships can crumble, and then how that relationship is affecting the kids, because they're trying to do this, we're fighting in the background in secret, and the kids are like,
we already know.
We know what's going on.
Right.
And so to me, it felt like there were real stakes in that. And I'm happy the show is ending because I feel like I think the show should have ended at that season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would have been a really strong season to end on.
I think they wanted to put some. They needed some cameos to come out.
They had promised some people they could be in the show, so
right.
They had to extend the season. I feel like adding in the new baby, like
listen, that new baby, and the fact that they will make jokes about the new baby on a regular basis, like who are you? Black people. Like they know. like they make jokes about like that. Like the first episode of this season, that kid came in and he was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" They come to Devontae and this other person come out. Only person in the damn city named Devon. I was named Devontae. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking about my kid. It's like things like that, yeah. And then but like not seeing Tracy Ellis Ross and Marseille Martin on. Yeah. On TV every week is gonna be because that little girl.
Mm-hmm. I love Jennifer Lewis. So
listen, Jennifer Lewis and
then her and like Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne is.
I really wish I thought they were gonna do Oldish. They were gonna give us Oldish, and they're not doing it now. Like, and that makes me sad because that would have been
because Grownish was actually pretty decent. It was okay.
I like Grownish.
It's okay.
I like the first couple seasons. I feel like you got so
anything
unrealistic.
that Chloe and Halle are on, I'm gonna watch. It's fine.
I could support that.
That's one reason I watched it. But then like the storylines, like it's not realistic.
And I liked Mixed-ish.
I like Mixed-ish.
I'm mad that they canceled. Like Mixed-ish was good.
Right.
It was like okay, because you really did have first of all the sister.
She's like the proverbial auntie. When you think about auntie, that auntie you want to go stay with.
Yeah.
That was her.
Like best one-liners in the show, like between her and Santa Monica.
I didn't watch Mixed-ish. I ain't gonna
Mixed-ish was good. Like it was good. It was like, and it was showing these are two very different worlds that are coming together, and sometimes that shit ain't compatible. Right. Like, cause.
It was a culture shock.
Daddy was racist. I don't care what nobody said. Daddy was racist. He was low key. He's like, I love my grandbabies.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else.
Well, and I think that's, I feel like that's the thing too. It's like that you got to make sure that everything's culturally appropriate now because of those Black Lives Matter.
But I think that like that's what made Mix because it wasn't cultural. Like he would say shit that you were like,
because that was that time frame. Like you had old racially inappropriate people just spouting their mouth off.
And so it made it in 2019 and 2020 and 2021 we're looking at that going, wow, that's terrible, but like that's what it was like.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I was talking about this with like Martin, like a show like Martin. I love Martin. I think Martin's funny as shit. It would not fly in 2022. And
I wasn't a fan then, I'm not a fan now.
You wasn't a fan of Martin?
No, it was just so fake, so gimmicky. Like, he was so rude to Pam, and I get it, it's for comedy, but then that just sets the whole frame of, like, how men see women and how, like, you know, Pam versus Gina, you know,
It's the black, the light skin versus black, the colorism thing.
Right.
But again, that's another reason why it wouldn't fly now. I liked Martin for Pam. Tashina Arnold will always be in my top 5 actresses of all time that does not get the shine that she deserves. Her on The Neighborhood is fucking hilarious. She's so damn funny on The Neighborhood. But it's like, I think for me, part of it is that nostalgia of like seeing, you know, that watching Martin and Living Single and New York Undercover and all of that stuff. Wow, New York Undercover.
I still hear that theme song in my head.
I love New York Undercover.
And how they had like musicians every
single time.
Like,
listen, and Torres, listen, Malik Yoba looking fine as a motherfucker. Like every
set up for every cop show ever to come out.
New York Undercover was so
nobody wanted to talk about it, but it's set up for pick up a cop show.
I don't think The Wire would be what it is without New York Undercover.
No.
SVU, right. Law and Order, all of those. New York Undercover wrote the blueprint for that.
Blue Bloods, whatever the character is.
Just this, because loved it. Just God.
I'm so excited. I think that, you know, they just as my little last little Color Purple musical.
Saw the cast list.
Cast list is magic.
It is. It's not like
magic.
Was it Cynthia?
Everybody
and their mama's in the cast.
Chloe and them is in there.
Chloe, yeah. Hallie's in it. Hallie's in it. Yeah, Halle Berry.
Holly's and Fantasia and
they had to bring Fantasia back.
Right. But then I wonder who else they auditioned for Nettie. Because I think about like the movie and how the book described her and everything, and like, you know, Hallie's not Nettie. From the book, from the movies, from.
I know, but I think the vocally.
You think they just went after it for the music?
It's vocal.
They're pulling for vocal.
It's vocal.
Fantasia can stand alone with her acting skills and her whatever, and her voice is just.
Voice is just what it is.
We're not gonna talk about that. I'm not even gonna go into that.
She sings the songs of slaves.
She sings the songs of slaves.
Go to your room.
I said, listen.
Hey, but you know
what I mean.
James Earl Jones is the voice of black people for the longest time.
You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but then
the same way Anthony Hamilton's voice sounds like cornbread.
He does sound like cornbread. No, cabbage. But that's a whole nother situation.
His voice sounds like greens.
Show you right.
And pig feet.
Show you right.
And I mean that and that's a positive, not a negative.
That's a real life positive. There's some people that just got it like that.
Fantasia sings the songs of slaves. It's just that might be the title of this episode. Fantasia sings the songs of slaves.
Not Jay Hudson. Not.
Now,
Jay Hudson is screaming.
Free Yourself is going through my head.
Can we talk about? Hold on. I know we said we was going. Listen, it's a good thing that we just this is recorded and not edited. We may have to take a break and come back and do something. Oh, we actually do have to do some more stuff when we come back. Mm-hmm. We got to do a commercial. We got to record a little commercial.
Okay. We'll work that
out. But free yourself. I don't care what nobody say.
Go ahead and free yourself.
That song is.
Just talk to me.
If you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
She talked bad. Whoever was on the other side of that line was getting cussed out through a whole song.
That was the answer machine song for that auntie you always want to spend the night with.
That was listen, do you know how long that was my answer machine song for? When I tell you, my ringtone, my answer machine, from the time that song came out till like 2008. You don't want me, then don't talk to me. Missy Elliott put her foot in that pen. You hear me? Can they stop
Can they stop sleeping on Missy Elliott, please?
Listen, I don't know who's sleeping on. Nobody's sleeping on Missy Elliott. We all know she's the queen. She's the moment. She's the hour. Like,
if you read something like the earlier critiques of her work, they're like, "Oh, well, this shit is garbage. Who just brought Missy Elliott in to rap 4 lines and yeah,
listen,
they not appreciate her skills back then."
I was in love with Missy Elliott from the moment she said, "Well, look at what you pegging. You ain't ready for Puff Daddy. Beware. How dare he make the remix so deadly? Shazam. Wouldn't it be my pal like Shazam? He have.
Hey!
I said, listen.
Now you're going to say that. I mean, there's stacks of albums right now.
Missy Elliott is, first of all, everything she touches is magic sauce.
She's the reason finger waves came back. I remember being like in first, second grade, my class was walking around finger waves. I'm like, you got my grandma's hair, but I get it.
Listen, my finger waves these days, they fall like Humpty. Dump me. Listen, I love
But
Missy.
I'm saying, like, she had album, and she never dropped an album.
Never missed.
And
never
I
missed.
felt like people slept. They took the Robitussin and the NyQuil. They gone.
So Missy Elliott has never missed at all. Like, and even if she might, and even when Missy does miss, it's not that she misses; it's we missed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She was too far ahead.
Right.
For what we was doing.
She set the standard, and I felt like she gave the blueprint to people like Nicki Minaj to do what Nicki Minaj do. All that extra, I can come forward, I can be as bold as I want to be, and still be feminine in my strength. Like, there's a lot of feminine with Missy Elliott that a lot of people want to.
Because she a big
girl, so they thought she was out there with that dyke energy, that masculine dyke energy. But I'm not gonna talk about all that. But there is levels of femininity in that.
There is,
and I felt like that was overshadowed because of who she was and how we talk about colorism.
She was a dark-skinned, larger woman.
Larger woman, and they kind of pushed her off to the left. She wasn't
She wasn't Lil' Kim.
Yeah, Lil' Kim. Far from the.
She wasn't Lil' Kim, and she wasn't Foxy.
Before Lil' Kim.
We won't talk shit. Listen, no Lil' Kim slander shall prosper. It won't work.
Hey, listen. She's actually.
No weapon formed against Kim shall prosper.
She's getting better. She's gotten better.
No weapon formed against Kim shall prosper.
Don't worry about it. I said.
Look, the good Lord loves you, me, and Little Kim. So we'll just
but at the end of the day, we already know that surgery wasn't her best friend.
It wasn't her best friend.
It wasn't her
Listen,
best
there
friend.
was a point where
and I'm glad that she stopped with that soul glow. She wasn't as bright as a halo light no more. And she went out and got herself a tan. And I said,
Sammy Sosa spirit.
Headshot. I praise God for the sun.
She was looking like a Thundercat.
She was right. And I was like,
I'm not. I said that.
I know you felt it because it's true. Stop playing with me. Just say it out loud.
I said no Lil' Kim.
In your chest right there. But it's all good because she getting right. Because I started following Lil' Kim on Instagram. And I was like, okay, she getting her mind right. She's getting cool.
That's the Lil' Kim dance. Y'all see Lil' Kim?
Poor baby ain't got no.
All them surgery.
We're not gonna talk about Mary J.
Mary J. Blige's dancing is a thing of beauty, and she knows it's a meme now. Mm-hmm. So now she goes all the way in.
It's like she's falling down invisible stairs.
No, it's like you got spotted doing your dance that you do in the house, and now it's a thing. So I can be myself. I'm free. She free. She
freed herself. She said, "If you don't want me,
then don't talk to me."
Go ahead.
I went ahead and freed myself. Is what she said.
Speaking of Mary, she just put a new song out. I haven't listened to it yet.
I didn't know that she did put out something.
She put a song out a couple months ago on the DJ Khaled album, and it's cute.
Okay.
And I hate to say this because I don't like the idea of wanting people to be in pain.
I knew you were going to say that.
For
Mary only made good music when she heartbroke.
Listen.
Facts.
I won't say she only made good music when she heartbroke. Because there are songs like Stronger With Each Tear. There's some albums that she was, when she was with Kendu, there are songs that are good. Mm-hmm. But to me, this last one, Strength of a Woman, we got a little bit of old Mary back. Because she was giving you the vocals that you need. You know, she does, like, there are certain artists that, like, when they're going through something, they make better music. To me, Vivian Green, first 2 Vivian Green albums, fucking gold. She got Happy.
Where'd it go?
And I'm like,
where'd it go?
You sound the same, but something is missing.
Yeah. It's like Adele. She just, why?
Adele found black dick in peace. That's what happened.
Why? Where'd it go? Help.
Black dick in peace.
I ain't mad about it.
Started with the Bantu knots.
Which, funny story about the Bantu knots. So one of the podcasts I listened to was The Read, and Kid Fury is Jamaican. And he was like, the only people who wasn't mad about the Bantu knots? Jamaicans. They was like, yes. Put
it in your hair.
They were like, listen, they don't care. This is like the Jamaicans don't give a shit. There's like all the black Americans was like, that's cultural appropriation. Meanwhile, the Jamaicans was like, yes.
Because now you got to look it up. What are these things in her hair?
They were like, listen, they don't care anybody who stands for Jamaicans. They're like, yes, we're here for it. Come through. And I think it's part
of some rice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because Jamaica is it's becoming a more diverse country.
I don't think it's a matter of like they have such pride in who they are. Because I'm island too. Like my parents are from Trinidad, and like they have such pride in who like island people are like so excited about being island people. That it's
Puerto Ricans are the same way.
Yeah, that even if you're not from there, if you rep us, we're like
Republic. All them cats from the Caribbean, all the Caribbean islands, them jokers are super prideful.
They're like you want to be one of us? Yeah. Come on.
I leave all you got, so you better band up.
I mean, sure.
So it's like they're like we were all like, how dare she? She had those Bantu knots on, and it was a terrible idea. And we're just meanwhile they're like, yes. I can't do a Jamaican accent. I wish I could.
I wish I could too.
I can kind of do a Nigerian.
River. That's all I got.
I can kind of do a Nigerian one, just a little bit. What are you doing?
Do you want a spanking?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you thinking about?
Who raised you?
Tobe Igwe. Real life. Shout out to my man. That's my man. He out here in these streets doing all the things. His entire catalog is
magnificent. I want to dig a little deeper into that whole like him and Fat's courtship relationship, how they got together.
Oh, who is this? What is this?
So Toby Ngwingwe, guy, I throw hands.
I don't know who this is.
Oh,
I'm not black enough. Oh shit.
Oh what? No. So Toby Ngwingwe, he wrote the song "Try Jesus, Don't Try Me."
Yeah.
You vaguely, I know. So here's the thing. He is an amazing rapper from Houston. He is Nigerian
American.
Nigerian American, and I love the fact he's very family oriented. He's doing it the right way. All of his songs is about just being him. It's not anything. It's not crazy. It's not out of the pocket, and he invites his wife to go with him everywhere he goes. All the stuff. He's also an independent artist, so he's not like building a norm. He can talk about Jesus. He can talk about going to the streets and shooting up the block. So it's
sometimes you got to do both.
Right. That's why I said try Jesus, don't try me, because I got hands. So, but it's to me, I thought it's really cool because he's a family man. He's like, I got my wife with me. I'm going with all this stuff.
But then the side part of it is when they talk about how we met. Basically, Fats had to work and basically do some pick pick me type stuff to get his attention. Because he was like, yeah, you know, when we first got together, I wasn't even funny like that. I called her funny looking and all that jazz, and she still stuck around, and and stayed in my corner and loved me when I wasn't that great, did that struggle love. So yeah, I got to the top, and I had to bring her along. That's something we can.
Let's talk. Next week we're gonna talk about struggle love.
Struggle love is a real life black experience.
It is.
It's a black experience.
I don't do it. I'm not very good at it. I'm gonna be the first one to admit, I'm not good at it. We're not gonna struggle. We gonna stick a pin in that.
There's a pin because we can talk forever.
Listen
and jump from topic.
Which we have done.
The topic.
Mm-hmm. So that's what this show's gonna be, Les. Is we're like, listen, if you might have to rewind it and go back and listen and be like, what the fuck did they talk about? How did we get here?
We may put a blueprint out. I feel like we need to put a blueprint out, but I feel like there's going to be a blueprint put together. It's going to be hilarious.
We need a PowerPoint presentation?
Not a PowerPoint presentation. Just like my mom used to say, an outline.
Got an outline. This is how we're going to get. This is how we did this.
Nah, I got my 12 points. Let's touch all 12 points. But nah, it ain't going to be like that. It's going to end up being a foolish
if you want to get
it's going to be a foolish mess.
Remember, if you want to hear this full conversation, don't forget to go to our Patreon page. We will be, where the whole thing will be up there. That's all I have to say on that. Thank you guys for watching and listening. BR, you got any final words?
You know what I'm saying? Because of this, I quit stripping. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the ladies, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that I got out of that lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Nope. Sex work is real work is what I say.
And Elle, who was holding him down with that struggle love while he was scripting.
Lord Jesus, fire. Come on, sexual Kit Kat.
Where do you come from? What is this? What is this?
What is he doing?
What is it that you are doing?
What? Why are you not an engineer?
You get 3 doctors by now.
You thought you got bees?
You only have one job. You bum.
You are a bum.
4 jobs. Bum.
Did we just jump like continents?
All right. All of them.
Who raised you? Who raised you?
But that's the black experience, all in one.
Listen, that is the black experience.
You got
some final thoughts? I know you got some love.
All right, final thoughts. Well, thanks for joining us on our first show.
Yeah.
Hope to see y'all again.
Yeah.
And like, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. See, somebody had to say it.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night.
Get you some sleep.